What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Two Fried Eggs podcast episode, whatever the fuck it is. We're here with Dolph, as always, and our about to be best new friend, mostly Ghostly. How you doing, sweetheart?
Hey, besties. I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Tonight,
Good.
I guess it's nighttime now.
Chilling. I'm doing good. I know you maybe you don't watch football, but I'm on a high right now because the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl, so I'm happy with that.
Heck yeah, I'm not in the football realm, but I mean, I'm always a supporter, so I'm down for it.
I do have to say that I'm digging the horns over the cat ears. Like, it seems like everybody rocks cat ears, and you're rocking the horns. I kind of dig that. Thank you. So.
I got them off Etsy, so shout out to whoever the shop was. I forgot her name, but she's amazing. Honestly,
those just clip on?
Came fast.
Those just clip onto the head?
Little Velcro.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So they work on anything.
Velcro pieces. Yeah, you can put them on any. And they move around, so you can, like, have them.
So I put them, like, way out here.
I thought that it was...
Thank
you. I appreciate it.
Turn them pointing out this way. All fucking crazy looking.
It's Halloween time, like, all the year for me, so
there you go.
I'm down for it.
Hey, Halloween's a fucking holiday, so
hell yeah. Those are webs in the back. Is that what it's like? Really, like Halloween decoration back there?
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, honestly, I got them all during Halloween, you know, and the sale afterwards. That's the best time to get them because you know when everything goes like 75% off, you're like,
oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like my yearly room decor. That's when I go ham, you know.
I'm not mad at you for that.
That's the best time to do it. It's like I'm fat. I usually go like after Easter to get the deals on the Easter candy and shit.
Yep, it's the same concept.
Reese's eggs, stock it up.
Yes. Oh my god, I bought some of those literally 2 days ago, and
they're so good. I can't. Yeah, I do too. I can't buy them because I'll eat. I won't stop till they're gone. Them motherfuckers are so good.
Yeah, having a 5-year-old really screws me right now. Like, if you ever try to lose weight with a 5-year-old, that doesn't work very well.
I almost wore I had my sweatshirt on before this. I got a little hot because, you know, I'm a little nerve, but I had a sweatshirt on and it was my I Love Hot Dad sweatshirt and I was going to wear it for you guys.
If it makes you feel any better, this is our show and I get nervous every time before it starts. Like, this is...
He does.
I have anxiety issues, so like before every time I go live on the pod or we do the podcast, I get all anxious and shit.
Yep.
I'm weird.
As long as I don't look at myself, I'm okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I like kind of just watch myself.
Can I like block myself? Can I like turn myself off?
Yeah, like I don't want to see myself.
I don't know.
It's in the settings, I think. Hold on. There has to be a way.
As long as you turn it off for us, I'm good.
No, it's okay.
Don't you do it.
No, I'm gonna turn you off. Turn you off.
Tell us about you. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Nevada. I was born and raised here. I'm still here.
Nice. In the desert? Is it desert?
Yep, in the desert. Even though it snows. I get all 4 seasons. I'm technically in like Reno, Tahoe area.
Oh, so you still get snow and everything?
Yeah, we're about to the snow, the mountains, and then it's nice and hot during the summer. So.
Oh yeah, I was thinking. Where was I thinking? I was thinking.
Vegas.
I was thinking Arizona.
You're thinking Vegas. Yeah, South Vegas doesn't really get.
Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas does not get. Yeah, Vegas is hot. Vegas is hot.
Right.
It gets a little cold in the winter, but
Satan's asshole. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time I looked at a fucking map, bro?
Yeah. So we're just a little bit up north and kind of on the Cali border line, I guess.
Okay.
But I did move around a lot as a kid. I lived in Houston when I was a kid, in Texas, and also kind of in the Fort Worth, like Dallas area. And I also lived in Oregon, in Jacksonville, Oregon, when I was a kid as well. So I moved around a little bit, but we've always come back here.
Military,
unfortunately,
what was the moving for? Military stuff or
marriage? But yeah.
So. Oh, okay, got you.
Military marriage.
There you go. I'm just curious. I've fucking lived in Kansas City all my life. I've never moved anywhere. I've just always been in this one spot. My sister
was born in Kansas, so.
Oh yeah.
Military.
Rolling Stones, I love it.
Yep.
I'm from Florida. Yeah. I've lived in Florida, Georgia, New Jersey, now Louisiana. I lived some time over in South Korea. So yeah, I've been in Cali for a little bit. I spent some time actually not close to you, but south South Nevada, anyways. So yeah,
nice.
I'm so sheltered. Yeah. I haven't been anywhere like that.
It's okay, Bashi.
I am.
It's okay.
I've been to I think I've been to. Well, I went across Kansas. Obviously, I'm actually in Missouri because Kansas City falls right on the line. So the half of it's in Missouri, half's in Kansas. So I'm in Missouri. What? So I've only been to
Wait, what?
I've only. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
So you say you're from Kansas, but you're from Missouri's?
Yeah, Misery. Home of Tech 9, baby. That's what it's all about.
The MO.
Yeah. Do you even know who Tech 9 is?
No.
God damn. What the hell? That's it. End the podcast. We're out of here. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. He's a rapper.
Canceled. No.
He's a rapper.
He's a middle-aged rapper.
Yeah.
Ready to move, though. Yeah. I want to travel, so I have 5 months of grad school left, and then I'm out of here. I'm moving. So
what are you
I'm
going
excited.
to school
for? My master's is in healthcare administration and healthcare policy. So I used to be an EMT. I just retired recently, like literally a month ago.
That's crazy shit to become an EMT and all that. That's wild.
Yeah, so I kind of went through my fantasies of that for a bit because I was really interested in medicine, and I was like, I'm just a nosy bitch, honestly. Like, you know, when like things happen on the side of the road and everybody stops, and you're just like, why is everybody fucking stopping? But then you low-key are like,
yeah, for sure.
Like,
so I want to see too. Like, fuck them, but I want to see.
Right.
Yeah. That was me. So I was like,
I just couldn't do the EMT thing because the whole like blood and stuff and all that. I'd be like,
love it though.
I'd probably get all.
I'm okay with blood. Some shit. I'm okay with pus. I'm okay with all that stuff. Human feces are the worst. Like I can't do that. Like I'm sorry. Human waste is out.
Yeah.
I was a plumber, just so you know.
Wait.
That's why I stopped being a plumber. So I thought I was smart. Yeah. I swear. I was like, I'm going to be the smartest plumber ever. I went and did new construction plumbing. New construction plumbing, nobody's using it. It's not dirty already. It's brand new stuff. So it's golden. They're like, you do great at this. You're going to do amazing at service work. Motherfucker. They threw me in a roof. Like,
oh, hell no.
And then I was in a 6-foot deep trench replacing a waistline. And somebody in the house I was working on. So they absolutely knew I was in a fucking hole behind their house working on their waistline. Took a shit. I was like, I quit. I walked out. I quit. And when it turned from the house I'm working on, it lands at my feet, I fucking walked away.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't think I could do that.
She's like, what?
I applaud you though, because I really understand the concept of trying to master something that you know you're just gonna fail at, you know? I think that that's what happened with me is I saw it as a challenge and I was like, you know what? Like, I think to the everyday, like the day-to-day person doesn't want to see the shit that you see, obviously. Right. But I think that the idea of like, I don't know, just doing it and just having that experience, I think mostly I just wanted to see what everything that was like hidden from me as a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, because there is, and even not even as a kid, like even to a whole society, like there's so many things that people don't see happen on the day-to-day, and that to me just opens up that whole world of like there's a whole group of people that like, you know, fire, police, like EMS, all those people, like their entire lives is literally just behind the scenes that trying to cover up so that everyone else can live normal lives and not have to deal with it, you know? I think that idea was respectable, and I was like, okay, I want to be part of the crew. I was like FOMO, you know? Like I had fear of missing out. I was like, okay, I want to be a bestie. So I did it, and it was traumatic, but I loved it.
Yeah, I grew up with, like, of course, I went the opposite direction, but I grew up with a lot around and with a lot of law enforcement type stuff and the stuff that they had seen. You'd hear stories, even like as a kid, you know, they're not really talking about that kind of stuff around you, but you still hear things and whatnot. And as I got older, there was a lot of that stuff that came around. The cops and stuff, you know, I've always been kind of on the opposite side of that. For a long time, but I still have much respect for them and shit, you know, and what they deal with and have to deal with mentally and everything that they see every day, or you know, it's a wild thing.
there really is that sense of like community and family behind it that you just don't get like from anyone. I feel like, I mean, yeah, I guess at any job you can have a sense of family and community, but I guess like because of the stuff you're literally traumatized over, you're sharing that, you know, and I feel like you really bond a lot.
Well, yeah, because you're working, those same people like, experience that shit too, so you can kind of lean on each other and shit, you know.
And that's like, cool. I'm not like a drama queen, but like I love to entertain, you know what I'm saying? Like I love the drama effect of everything.
Right.
And so like EMS, like it's messy, like the key and the drama behind
God, I could only imagine
the relationships. Like,
yeah. Well, you got a bunch of hot girls walking around in scrubs. What the fuck you expect? Like, scrubs are some of the sexiest shit you can put women in.
How is that? I still don't, I don't understand that. Like,
because they're thin and form-fitting and
honestly, I had a nightmare experience with this actually, because in EMS, like you're wearing, you know, those like, it's like cargo pants, like cargo pants, boots, like almost EMS.
You're Johnny Dungarees out there, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, like in training, they make you shine your boots like the military type of shit.
I love it.
And so, when I first got to my job, I was, you know, my first job. I was obviously, there was 2 like staff male that were helping me like get my uniform fitting, and I was like, this is terrifying. I was like, okay, I'm down, you know, like, I'm like, okay, I'm down, because I think everyone, like, I don't know, just the idea that like I'm like thrown into this locker room, like 18 years old, like baby, like 18 years old, into this locker room full of like, you know, all types of people, honestly, but we have people that are 18 all the way up until people that are like 50s, 60s that are still like wanting to do this. And they're just like, okay, you're going to change here. Like, what size are you? Like, all this stuff. And I'm just like, it's like the fucking military. And I was like, okay, let me put my boots on. And so he opens like the closet up and he was like, okay, so what size pants are you? Like, what's your pant size? And I'm like, well, what do you have? Because here's the thing, like, there's a difference in the booty, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just depends on the pants. Right. And so I was like, are these men's pants? Are these female pants? And he's like, okay, well, he opens up the female, like, cabinet, and there's literally 3 pairs of pants in there. And he's like, I have a 0, 2, and a 4. And I was like, yeah, that's not gonna
work. Like, that's awesome.
Can you open the mail? And so I was stuck wearing like these pants, like these male pants, for like a little bit of time. Obviously I was like, I'm not wearing these, and I went and bought my own, but it was just like the initial trauma of it all. I was like, okay, we're starting off great. Like,
right.
But honestly though, like, it kind of just helps you, like, it breaks you down a little bit to like be humble about it, that we're all in this together. Like, you know, it's not really about that, you know, we're all there for a different reason, but it's still just one of those things, I think, going in there as like a female, like a young female into a predominantly male like career, I guess, that people take very seriously. And I was just going in there because I'm like, I'm curious. Just wanted to try it.
For someone that's stupid, like, and it may not be a difference, I don't really know. What's the difference between like your standard nurse you see at the hospital and like an EMT, or is that all the same, or no?
Sounds like 6 years of college.
It's different. Okay. So the EMS side of it is emergency medicine, so it's all the people that are out on the ambulance, like doing the initial care of the emergencies.
My mom did that for a while too, yeah. Back before I was a thing.
Right, so it's like the first responders, you know, usually respond with fire and police and whatever. That's like the EMS part of it, and that part, the training of it, there's like different levels depending on which state you're in. There's different like certifications that you can get, and each certification like allows you to have a different scope of practice, like a greater scope of practice the more education you get, obviously. So right. For me, like the first one I got was just, everyone has to go through the same like training and the same, it's like a state regulated thing, and the first one is just a basic EMT training, which is a like bare minimum, just like a license that pretty much allows you to administer like very, very small amounts of medication, like ibuprofen, Tylenol, like very drugstore, like minimal type stuff, but you're also driving the ambulance and you're doing like the primary physical like exam, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of the introduction into medicine, you know? Right. And then you can get the next license up, which I did. I got my advanced license, and that kind of opens you up more into the emergency medicine world, and the scope of it all kind of like expands into, I would say, much more, because now you're able to do like IVs, administer IV medications. You can do like all different types of like drugs. You're talking like bandaging now. Your stuff is just a little bit more advanced than I would say like the basic is allowed to do. You're doing like intubation, so if people aren't breathing, you can now breathe for them, that type of stuff. So it does get a little bit more advanced the more time of school that it is. But the funny part is, and the crazy part is that to be able to do all this stuff, my training was like 6 months long. And then like a nurse.
To make you feel better, to make you feel
learn all that shit.
I learned how to do IVs and all the stuff you're talking about in about a week-long course in the Army.
Literally.
Yeah, it was a week-long course. So, stupid.
Bro, people that give me IVs scare me because my fucking veins are shit. I'm a big guy. Like, well, I'm short. I'm just a fat guy. But my veins like roll and are hard to find. And so half the time I go in somewhere, man, they just have to poke me so many different times. And usually somebody will only try like once or twice, and then they'll get somebody else, and that person will try it once or twice, and it just keeps going. But there's been multiple times where I just have giant fucking bruises and stuff when I come out of something like that.
That's crazy. Can't find my veins. Deal with that at all. I have huge veins.
And then like,
man, not me.
Nursing, it's kind of like a whole other scope. It's obviously more schooling. They have more of a, like, I would say a larger understanding of like medicine in general in terms of actually taking care and treating somebody, rather like EMS is more of like, okay, it's just life-saving treatment, like the initial start of it all, just to make
you
sure
to the hospital.
Right. And I mean, it is important because nurses aren't necessarily trained in emergency medicine unless they specialize in that. So there is a trade-off in that, and that's why it's separated, because unless you're an emergency medicine like nurse, like in the emergency room or something, you're not getting that emergency care, and they would not be able to save somebody's life in that way if they needed that advanced care like a paramedic would have.
Right.
Does that make sense? So I did that for a little bit out in the field, like on the ambulance. But then
that has to be so crazy. Like the shit you come across and whatnot has to be wild doing that shit.
It was wild.
Crackheads like Bosch over there.
Yeah, I've been on the ambulance a few times, bro. I fucking had I've only been on the ambulance once or twice, and I just remember, like, they picked me up. I was having a severe fucking panic attack. Like, I couldn't get myself out of it and stuff. And so I ended up calling the ambulance, and by the time they got me on the fucking ambulance and they laid me on the gurney or whatever, and they're talking, and going to take me in. And I thought the guy gave me something, like, because I thought he had gave me something or whatever, because I asked him, like, did you give me something? Because my arms and legs just went dead. And what had happened is my heart rate had got so high, I guess, that I wasn't really pumping blood or anything. You know what I'm saying? So then at that point, he gets on the phone and he, like, calls ahead, and they fucking hit it and get there. Bro, when I walked in there, I've never been on an ambulance before. I come in there, there's like 6 or 7 motherfuckers just waiting for me. And they fucking pick me up, throw me on another fucking bed, throw an IV in me, and shoot.
Literally.
Yeah, they know what's going on, so they fucking, because I told them, and so as soon as I get there, they throw the IV in me and they fucking shoot me up with something. 10 minutes later, I'm like, fuck it, I'm ready to go home. Because whatever they shot me up with killed it instantly,
Yeah,
and so my dad and everybody come down. By the time they got down there, I'm like, shit, I'm fine now, but that was scary shit. I couldn't move my legs or arms because they just went dead.
I have a similar story to that, and it's literally it's so embarrassing, honestly, because this was right after I had left my job on the ambulance, and I was transitioning into an in-hospital job because I wanted to experience working like with the nurses and the doctors, and I was moving to like a more advanced cardiac unit, and it was like a step down from the ICU, so it was like another experience that was going to be really good for me. And I don't know, like I think everybody knows that, like, addiction, like drug use, alcohol, all that kind of stuff is very prevalent in EMS because you are dealing with a lot of traumatic shit that necessarily a lot of people like don't seek help with. And so I would say during that time, like I was pretty heavily smoking weed, like, and I have been for, I would say, like since I was 15. It's been a pretty major part of my life, just like coping with trauma, I think. And it was just definitely something that's held me back, I feel like, in some ways, because I feel like it, in a way that it, like, I feel like I need it in some ways in my life. I feel like it, you know, it keeps me going in a way, but at other times, and like, I don't want to have that feeling, but at the same time, it's like, I don't do anything else. I don't do any other drugs. I don't drink alcohol. Like, my mom is an alcoholic, so that whole part of my life is very, like, sensitive, and I just don't want to partake in that. So I'm like, I'm still young. Like, is it okay? Like, I often have that conflict. And so I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on that.
I have the same battles. Because, well, for one, like, I battled with the, like, if I like weed or don't like weed and stuff like that, a lot. And a lot of that stems from my anxiety, because sometimes it will cause me to have anxiety. At the same time, sometimes it will help me to relax and not have anxiety. So I've battled that part of it back and forth, which has got a lot easier now that it's legal, but it's still not perfect. So there's a lot of times where I go through periods where I'm smoked up 24/7, like not like blasted out of my mind, but I'm smoked to where, like, there's no point in my day. As soon as I wake up with my coffee, I smoke. I probably
wake and bake.
Watching, but lunch I smoke. Right after I get off, you know, I smoke, and then I go home and I get on stream and I smoke, and then there's other times like where, like in my age, I battle it with my kids as well. You know what I'm saying? I have 3 kids, and my 2 oldest ones now both smoke, you know, and so I battle it like that, you know. Was I the best parent I could have been and shit, you know, like, not that it's a terrible, I don't even want to call it a drug anymore, honestly, but I have battled that a lot. And even now I have a younger kid and I still smoke, you know, and I have all these different issues with anxiety and stuff, and I battle that as well. So I kind of get where you're coming from, because there's also times too where I feel like I could accomplish a lot more if I didn't smoke all the time, because I'm already a tired kind of person a lot of times with health stuff and whatnot. And so there's sometimes I've thought about, well, man, if I didn't smoke, if I'd have more, you know, if I could get more done, get more energy and shit, you know. So I've had a lot of different battles with it like that. And I think when it comes right down to it, I've just decided to where, like, there's certain times I want to smoke, and if I don't want to smoke, I don't smoke, and it's not such a big deal anymore. Like, I've kind of come to terms with it not being, I don't even look, like I said, I don't want to call it a drug, because I don't feel like it is a drug anymore. I feel like it's I don't know, almost like a tool to me anyway, where I can use it. Like, if I'm having some anxiety and I feel like I'm in the right space and it might help me out, then I can use it. If I don't want to smoke, I don't fucking smoke, you know.
See, to me, it's medicine. That's the thing. Like,
he has no choice right now. Yeah,
like I've stayed pretty smoked up a lot, pretty 24/7 at this point. It's just I have really severe Crohn's disease and a bad hernia that I'm waiting on a surgery and a pinched nerve. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. So when it comes down to, like, about 2 hours ago, I smoked a blunt by myself to try to deal with some of the pain, to be able to sit down with you guys and do this. I didn't work at all last week because it was too much. Like, I couldn't even get out of bed without feeling nauseous. So when it comes down to it, I can't see that it's a bad thing if it's the only thing that you're doing, and if you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it just to hang out and whatever, I'm good with that. Like, it's not. Well, I'm not saying that it's only medicine, but if you're doing with it to cope with things, identify what you're coping with and use the right strains to go with it. Because when I would just smoke and do whatever I wanted, I would deal with a bunch of issues that I didn't want to deal with. Now that I've gotten down so far as to say, okay, I need a flower about 22 to 24% THC. Mm-hmm. That's for my tolerance. Then I need these specific terpenes because these are the ones that help me do this. And, like, I didn't eat for 3 days last week because I was so sick. I had to go buy some different flour, and I was able to eat for the first time in like 3 days at that point. So if you are doing it for medical reasons or to cope with something, and whether it's anxiety or whatever, I don't care. Whatever it is, do some research to figure out what works for you, and keep and pay attention. Like I've pretty smoked heavily for 5 years, 4 or 5 years, like flower, vapes, waxes, anything you can get your hands on. I've done edibles. I'm just getting a grasp on what terpenes I do well with, that do well for certain things. So keep paying attention. Don't be stupid and take so much time like I did, because if I would have had this kind of knowledge 3 years ago, I would maybe be in a better situation now. So that's
and that's the good thing about it becoming legal and stuff too, is that you have the opportunity to fucking go through all that and experiment.
I literally
where you're not
have
just
like
grabbing
a
a pack
from
somebody. And to be honest with you, I got like 3 blocks from me. I can be there in less than 5 minutes, and pick up whatever the fuck I want. But nowadays too, another thing I'm thankful for is that, for one, like you said, for my issues, or who everybody's issues, your issues, for pain tolerance and whatever you're dealing with, you get to research all that, or you can research all that, which I need to do more of, because I still don't fucking know what terpenes necessarily work for me. I just try to get a 50-50 kind of deal where it's, sativa, indica, 50-50, and I think I'll be all right for the most part.
That's the thing. If you were to pay attention to the
case. So
that's the thing. If you're not paying attention to the terpenes, it's a gamble. And if you're using a different kind, because you can have, let's say, like was it mining, carophyllene, and what's another one? Just those two. If you have one in greater concentration to the other, it does a completely different thing for you. So like carophyllene heavy, and then mining and limonene for me is perfect. So you got to know which the orders and what the percentages you can do. It's all like we make fun of the people that talk about like the essential oils. That's what terpenes are, is essential oils. It's like I've been using them for years, like for like oils and stuff my wife uses. She's a hippie. But it's the same exact thing in cannabis, though. It's all terpenes that react to your body. It's all natural medicine. So
cool. I think that I'm definitely more educated on the medical side of it. I definitely understand that. I think for me it's more just because it is such a new concept, especially for me and my family, because I came from a really conservative background. That
same.
Yeah, that my sister literally is 11 months older than me, so we're basically the same age, and
Irish twins.
I don't know, it's just this no, we are, and she's amazing. So, but she kind of pioneered and took me along, and it was just kind of interesting, because growing up I was always seen as the more, I don't know, kind of had my shit together, wouldn't do anything bad, straight A's in school type of
I wish
student.
I was a very to have my shit together. I've never had my shit together.
Personality. And my sister was the complete opposite, which was completely she has her own strengths, right, in that way, because she was more sociable. Her social skills are just amazing. She can talk, she can sell, she's a great business lady, she's everything. And I think that she would take me along, she would tell my grandparents, we would always go do shit in high school, and she would tell my grandparents, oh, I'm taking Darcy, and we would go and tell them we were going to the movies or something, and they would always believe us because I was going.
Oh.
And then little did they know, we were actually doing some crazy shit. And I'm honestly thank God that I feel I got my crazy shit out of me when I was young, because I feel I would have literally been in such bad trouble / in way worse conditions if I would have gone through it at my age now, which I feel is a typical age that people go through that shit. But I went through it so early. Maybe, I don't know if it was just the area that I live in, it was prevalent during that time. I was just young. I was going to frat parties when I was 15, I was in the mix, and I don't know, it was just crazy.
I'd be so afraid now. I don't know how. I honestly, I don't know how old you are and stuff, but I'm 42, right? So I'm 42. So when you were going through all that stuff, even now, when I was going through things and I was doing my crazy shit and all that, which I still do a little bit of crazy shit, but there was not the fear of.
You are boring as hell.
Yeah, right. Well, I am now, yeah, for the most part.
Boring.
Yeah, for the most part. But I'm glad to be nowadays, motherfucker. But no, back then when I was doing all that running and doing shit, man, you didn't have to worry about fucking fentanyl and a bunch of other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go buy my whatever I wanted to fucking buy, and I didn't have to worry about testing it or maybe possibly dying or some shit. So like, that's what I worry about with my kids, because I have a 18 and 17-year-old right now, and like they're always like told them, I'm like, just stay the fuck away from that shit, you know. And they're like, we know because they've had friends that have passed and stuff in high school and whatnot. But like, that's what I was getting back to, like with the legalization on one side, it lets you kind of learn and investigate and stuff. But then I know that I'm getting something that's sealed package. It's not going to be fucked with. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable just going and buying baggies from a fucking homeboy down the street anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's like the great thing of having it now legalized, especially here. And I think that my time was, especially in my town, I think it was just the right time. I feel like it was the last phase of really feeling like we could go to a friend or go down the street and get something, and it was okay. Like, there's a guy that literally like lived 5 houses down from me that I would just like walk into his garage and just like take shit, because I was like, it was there and it was available, and like I trusted it, you know. But I think that once I phased out of that and that legalization happened, and I was like, oh, I'm never doing that, because I started realizing like my friends were dying, you know, like this shit was like, we have a really bad fentanyl problem in my area. And at that point, I think it was just the perfect timing. I had just turned the legal age to be able to start buying it myself from like a dispensary, you know. And it just so happens I live in a really great area that really supports that, you know, like legalization of it. So I've had a really great experience with it, but I mean, it is scary for a lot of people that don't have that in their states, because they are getting it from unsafe places. And, you know, you just never know.
We just lost, I say we, I say we because of my job, but one of our coworkers just passed not too long ago. He got hooked on on pills, and he'd been doing it for a long time, but it got away from him and just really got a hold of him finally. And he ended up getting some bad shit and OD'd, and that was it. So he was younger than I am, you know, mid-30s, had a wife and kid, and unfortunately, he was already getting, you know, it had already taken him to the point of where they were getting a divorce and had got a divorce and everything, because he just got so strung out, you know, and it cost him his job, where we've been, you know, he'd been at his job working with us for about 10 years, cost him that. And then shortly after he lost his job, he ended up getting some bad shit, and they found him dead. That was it. Checked out. It's crazy. It's such a scary deal nowadays. So. Hey, we went down a fucking path here, and we went down a path we haven't even talked about.
I told you, we have no idea where we'll go with this. We just
we never do. It's just a conversation's all it is, and like getting to know who you are, and then just talking about it.
I love it. Crazy. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. I think just being genuine and having just a good conversation is the best way to go. Sometimes when it's too structured, it's sometimes nice to have like an idea or something you want to talk about, but at the same time, like, you know, sometimes when you do have a structure, it's like, oh, do I have to prep? Like, do you want me? No. Do you want me to like research?
There's literally no structure here at all. So
we prepped when we first started this stuff, and
I listened to a few of your episodes.
Yeah, we tried to at first. Yeah, we were like have notes and wrote down, and I'm like, bro, I can't do that. Like, I'm literally just, I live on the fly. Like, if I have to plan or think about something too much, then I freak the fuck out. It's just the way my fucking brain works. So I don't want to think about it. Like, I just want to fucking show up, just like we do, say, hey, how are you? And get the fuck started. That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Honestly.
Like, that's how I operate.
Just like you do, asshole. Like,
that's what I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I spend weeks cultivating relationships to get people on this and stuff.
Not me. Hey, but that was our agreement from the beginning, motherfucker.
Oh, no. This was my idea to do. I get that, and I love my part of it.
I have a question. What like with your smoking and whatnot, have you run into issues as far as with the job stuff and all that? Do they, because with testing and shit?
Yeah,
how's that work?
It's
right.
It's been a little bit of a journey with me, because I feel like I'm in that weird place where I feel like I'm in that age group where almost my colleagues and my like the people that I work with professionally can almost be like managers or be in charge of things, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I feel like we're not quite there yet. We still have that generation that is very much like, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's interesting because I feel like that's what I'm working through a lot right now, especially trying to find what kind of job and what lifestyle I want to live, because I feel like I kind of was in that part of my life where my mom and my grandparents didn't have the opportunity to go to college or go to school at all, and so they really pushed that like for me, because they saw with their generation how they were missing out on things because they didn't do that. And though I'm grateful that that happened, I feel like I was kind of pushed into figuring something out when I was 18 years old or when I was 19 years old, and they were like, oh, like you still have time, like it's fine.
You're so young at that age. Like when I like looking back now, like I see my kids 18 and 17 and I'm like, dude, you're babies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
having that expectation of like
crazy
picking a career and sticking with it for the rest of your life, because I did come from a conservative background. Like that was the expectation, and it is the expectation. I'm still working with that side of my family. But I feel like as I'm getting older and I'm going through the process, I'm realizing that like that the traditional lifestyle, the traditional like find a career and stick with it for the rest of your life is not like what is happening anymore, and it's not what I feel like is going to happen.
Though.
I've been at my job now 20 years, and every day I'm like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have been. Like, I understand I got tied into the kids and stuff like that, but I've been in my job 20 years now, and every time I'm like, man, if I would have just like branched out and maybe explored more jobs and really, you know, I don't know. I feel like I've wasted a lot of time just sitting.
I'm on my third career though, and I'm gonna tell you, I would rather have went your route than my route. I was in the Army, they got out and did the car business and got out that car business, went to insurance and the call centers, and now I'm doing what I do. Like as someone that did jump around and did like try to figure out where I was, I'm still not happy in a fucking job. So it's not like it's not like the harder you look, the better it's gonna get. It's still you make good money. It's a job. You can deal with it. You when you walk out of there, you don't think about shit that goes along with that place. And to me, that's a blessing, because there's too many people that walk away from their job every day and have to take that stress home and to deal with that stress day in, day out, 24/7. So yeah, I know, but
I work from the time I clock in to the time I clock out, and I ain't doing shit else, motherfuckers.
That's why I left. That's why I left like the EMS and the medical, like clinical side of it, because it very much was like my entire life, if that makes sense. It was, I work 12-hour shifts, a minimum of 3 days a week, and it's not just 12 hours. It's like 12 hours with a 30-minute break, but you're usually staying at least 13 or 13 and a half hours because, you know, you never get out on time, or you get called to something else, and you can't just leave a call when you get to clock out. You have to stay and then go home.
You were doing all that shit during the fucking COVID time too, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was just like very much like
I hadn't even thought about that, but during the COVID shit, man, that had to be rough, like through all that.
And at the time, I'm still full-time in school. So I'm working a full-time job, doing full-time school, and I'm going to class to get an advanced, like, certification for another, like, EMS degree. So it's like, there's just so much going on in my life at that time. And so I just decided that, you know, along with the trauma of seeing shit for the first time and, like, realizing what life really is for most people, like, it's like... I also had to take that home with me every night. You know what I'm saying?
One thing I've noticed was
at very, very young age. I was 18 years old when all of this was happening to me. So it was like
when you're talking about the school and the workload and everything. I have an ex that kind of went through some of that, and we were split up at the time, but I was still talking to her, and a lot of that. And I was surprised. I guess I'm not surprised, but a lot of those nurses, including her, had started taking like Adderall and shit like that to be able to fucking focus and learn the shit she needed to learn.
And it's
like, and then meth.
Insane because
she felt like she didn't have a choice. Like she wasn't going to be able to. She's like, without this, I can't keep up. You know, and she can't. So she got to where
and that's like on top of that same feeling that I have that I experienced with the same thing that she felt, but I now have my like bachelor's degree, my undergrad degree, and my advanced degree is a public health degree. So I'm supposed to be educating people not to be taking these drugs in a wrong way, to be taking care of their mental health, to be being healthy. So it's like I'm in this weird combination of trying to figure out, like, especially with, you know, being this person. I'm probably the only person in all of my classes that literally smokes every single day. That's just like also trying to, that probably has that mindset that like I'm, you know what I'm saying? No, I would be surprised, but at the same time, like, I don't know. There's only 8 people in my classes right now. So
right.
Well, I feel there are people in my family that still don't know that I smoke.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I do now, but growing up, I had to hide it for years and years. Even after past 18, 19 and stuff, I had to hide it because it's like all illegal.
I do, but I don't think I really do very much with like my, I don't really think I do actually. I think I phased out of that, but I did when I was 15, 16, 17, 18,
Right.
So I don't know.
I don't hide it.
I'm glad to see that. I'm so glad to see the route that the smoking and stuff is taken because it's becoming much more socially acceptable. I just wish, once we get rid of like the generation above us, unfortunately, I say get rid of, but once all those guys are out of government and things like that, and even like the employers, managers and shit, like in the regular, like my boss right now is, weed's terrible, blah, 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 blah. Like, I still think I would get fired. Like, I'm afraid if I drop dirty or something, like, they would still fire me for it. And that's something we've dealt with the podcast and our style of streaming, because I smoke on stream. We have a fucking podcast where we smoke on and stuff. And so it's just kind of hush-hush. It's not talked about around my job. Like, I know they know of things, but it's not.
Because they can't do anything in your private life.
Because,
Yeah,
so
and I have.
I'll be
had
glad once it becomes once we get over this next hump, and hopefully it goes on to the next level where it just becomes like, if you want to fucking smoke, I would much rather you fucking smoke. Like I told my kids, I'd much rather you sit at home and fucking smoke a joint than fucking go out drinking and shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or even if you go out, I'd still rather you smoke a joint than go and fucking go out drinking and shit. I mean, it's just it's much easier on your body. It's I don't know. Nothing good to me. Nothing good comes from alcohol. I mean, in the long run,
the whole way through.
Yeah. And
I have a great time, but I do a bunch of shit that I wouldn't do if I wasn't drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get drunk, I'm having a great fucking time, but it's not me. That's not. I'm doing shit that I wouldn't normally do if I wasn't drunk off my ass. So.
Yeah,
like
but
I had to put my pants down and dancing in front of the camera. Oh, sorry.
Jobs and like I guess like the smoking. If I've had issues with that, I guess I have like prior to when I was in the medical field. It was just I was in the beginning like I don't know. I was working in a warehouse and I was like at the time I was obviously still smoking like on the weekends and like in my own times or whatever. But really, I was still like, okay, I'm not going to do it at work, that kind of a vibe. And I was really like with that. I was okay with that because I really, liked the balance of what I was doing. But I had just got into researching about just like CBD, like pre-rolls. And there was like I had found like a farm that was kind of close to me that had like no THC. It was just a CBD type of situation. And I was like, okay, I'm interested in that because I honestly was like tired of I wanted to try and see if I can phase out of smoking like weed in general and just go more of a CBD route. If that was for me. And I did find that, I did enjoy it and I could do it like on the day-to-day because it wasn't messing with my mental. It was like I was still very clear. I was just overall my anxiety was just like I was just calm. Like I was just like I was just okay with things, and prior to that it was like I do struggle with anxiety and depression and like I was chilling and there was one day that I went to the warehouse and I had just smoked a CBD like joint, like probably an hour and a half before I went to work. And I rolled into work and I had, of course, it was the day that I forgot my badge. So I had to like walk through the office. I had to get busted.
Figures.
And this guy had like opened the door and me, I was just like, I'm just gonna walk through and just like go about my day,
Right.
Sure you are.
Yeah. And so I did. And he had stopped me and he's like, what's your name? And I was like, Darcy. And he was like, where do you work? And I was like, oh, like outside in the like yard. Cause at the time I was a dispatcher for like trucks, like all the warehouse trucks and everything. And he was like, okay, have a great day. And I was like, okay. And so I like walked in my merry way and I like clocked in. So, thank you. And then like 30 minutes later, my like manager's like outside of my little shack that I sat outside. And he was like, and I was like, come here. And I was like, okay. And he comes over to me and he's like, Somebody complained that you smelled like weed.
Oh, what a
dick.
What a fuckhead. If I found out who that was, I'd fucking smack the shit out of him, you snitch ass motherfucker.
Literally. And so at the time, like, this guy was probably like in his like mid 40s, I would say, and I had literally like stared into his eye and I told him I smoked a CBD joint before I came into work today, but it doesn't have THC in it, so
right,
that's the tea. Like, I was being honest. I was like, at this point,
I get
like,
fucked up. I'll walk into my job and then I'll start working and shit. Next thing you know, one of my coworkers comes over. We wear these like polo collared shirts and they embroidered with the logo on one side and all that. And be like, "Hey bud, your shirt's on inside out." I'm like, damn it, not again, you know. Or I'll show up to fucking work and start fucking working like I did the other day. I show up to fucking work. I'm fucking. Anyway, so I show up to fucking work and I clock in. I start working. I look down and I got a fucking Death Row shirt on. I didn't put my work shirt on. I was wearing a Death Row record shirt working. Like, I'm like, fuck.
At least I'm here, bitch.
So I have to go into my boss and be like, "Hey, you got a Fat Boy shirt laying around here somewhere so I can fucking get dressed," you know? And he just shakes his head like. So I know they fucking know, bro. But
literally,
I've done that a few times. Where I show up with a polo shirt on inside out.
Oh my god! I thought I was the only one that wear my shirt inside out. My wife messes with me so bad. I just don't even look. I don't pay attention. I just put the shirt on and walk out. Like, if I'm not going out in public,
fuck it, man. It's early. I'm
say
half
that
asleep
though.
Getting dressed, fucking.
I say I've done it in public too.
I don't know. This story just gets like. Kind of insane because he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna like need you to come into the office. We're gonna like have someone come like drug test you, and if you pass, like you're good to go. And if you don't, like we're gonna have to have a conversation." And I'm just like, it's like I literally was like, are you even educated? Like I literally sat down with this man. I'm like, do you understand that like that it doesn't have THC in it? Like it's not gonna come up on the drug test. But, like, I was low-key freaking the fuck out because I still smoke regularly every other night and on the weekends.
I didn't smoke then.
Right. Well, and that's so fucked up, too, because it's not like... I mean, I understand, like, if you're maybe a doctor, like, whatever or something, but, like, if you're, like, what you were saying at that point, you were working in a little, like, dispatch deal or something. I'm like, come on. Like, me, I sell...
$20 an hour, bitch.
I sling truck parts, dude. Like, I can fucking... I've done it for so long, I can do that shit with my fucking eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, if I want to fucking come in there and smoke a goddamn joint, like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm still making you money. I'm still fucking cashing
I showed up, did I not?
Checks for you guys and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just doing a Death Row shirt inside out.
And
get off. True.
Like, having this conversation with this, like, with my manager's manager at this oval table in a little office. He's sitting there. We're waiting for the drug test people to come, and he's trying to sit there with my other manager. So there's two managers and me, and they were waiting for obviously the drug test lady to come, and they were like. Literally shooting the shit, talking about how they used to come to work high, and they're like, "Oh, we get it, like we understand, like we used to do that shit all the time." And I was just like,
"Well, then why are you being a bitch and calling these motherfuckers in here to test me? Then what the fuck?"
Like, so what am I doing here? Thankfully, but not thankfully. Thankfully, at the time, I was going through like a really like crazy healthy stage of life, and I was drinking a gallon of water a day and like going to the gym 6 days a week, and I was literally peeing out the fucking asshole. And so this lady came and she's like, "Okay, we're gonna take the drug test," and she was like watching me pee. Kind of. She was like, she had the door cracked. I wouldn't say she was like watching me, but she had the door cracked. She was like right there, you know. And I like sit there and I'm like, okay, I need to like pass this drug test because like I low-key need this job. I was living by myself, paying like all my own bills. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. Yeah. Like I really did not have
yeah.
I really did not have the chance to like fuck this one up. And so I was sitting there and I was like, I remember like I've taken so many drug tests, and I was like sitting there like almost filtering my pee. Like I was like, okay, the key is that you pee like the first part of the stream, the concentrated part, and then you catch the middle part, and then you pee the rest of it out, right?
Oh
and
my god!
There you filter it out, but you don't add the toilet water because they test the temperature, so you don't do that.
Yeah.
So
I buy
thankfully my pee was literally clear, thank God, because I was a healthy girl drinking a gallon of water a day, and she. So then I gave it to her. I like signed the shit and everything, and they're like, "Okay, we'll call you when we get the test results back. But for now, you're going to be on like a work suspension. Like you can't come back until we get the test results back."
Good lord, bro, that shit is so crazy.
But they're like, "We're going to pay you. Like we'll pay you while you're out." And I'm like, "Okay, period."
Deal.
Oh, well, yeah, if that's the case, fuck you.
I'm gonna go home and smoke a joint.
Peace. I'm going to get high.
Literally. So they're like, this was on a Thursday, and they're like, it should be by Monday. So it's like, great, I at least have like the weekend, I don't have to show up. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, but I was still like anxious about the test result.
Oh yeah.
So
it's crazy.
3 days go by and I didn't hear from them, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait 4 days because I'm like, I'm on the clock, you know. I'm getting paid.
Yeah, fuck it. If you're getting paid, who cares?
30 days later.
Right.
Oh, darn, punish me.
So a week goes by and I call them back and I'm like, hey, I haven't heard about my drug test results. Like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we haven't heard back from them yet either. So just like, don't go back into work until you hear back from them. And I'm like, okay. So another week goes by and I'm like, okay,
what the fuck? Hell yeah. Shit, so paid vacation in this motherfucker.
So I called them again, and they're like, so it has been 3 weeks at this point since I had originally taken the test. And they're like, we got a call back from the test place, and the test came back inconclusive. So you're allowed to return to work.
I'd be like, but do I have to? Can y'all just keep fucking paying me?
At this time, though, I was so fucking pissed off at them because 2 days, not even 2 days, the next day that I didn't show up to work when I was supposed to come to work because I was, like on that like leave, everybody, the entire warehouse had already been talking about what happened to me because I feel like I'm a pretty like, I move around. I have a lot of I know a lot of people. At the time, I was like a little butterfly, So when they were like, "Oh, where is she?" Like my manager who was in the conference room with me had told everybody that I had gotten fired and that because I had failed the drug test. So
this motherfucker.
So Jesus. And the reason I knew that because my cousin worked at the same warehouse doing the same job with me. I worked with her. She had called me saying that he was going around everyone telling me that I was fired and that I wasn't going to return and that we needed to find somebody else. And so when I got a call saying, oh, you can go back to your job, like I literally looked at them and I was like, I'm not going back. I'm like, fuck you, because you guys literally told me that I didn't have my job when you didn't believe me about my test. That I told you that I would pass.
You didn't pass.
It was inconclusive. That's a pass.
That's true. That's a pass. Good enough. Shit.
It's called a false positive. Is what it is, or false negative. I mean,
good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say too much, but I had a test, at one point or another, and I bought I spent like $35 or $40 on this fucking monkey pee. It actually has a monkey on the box and all that shit. And you just put it's got a little stick-on fucking warmer, and you put it in the waist of your fucking pants and go in and use that shit. Fucking no problem at all. It works like a charm.
Yeah, they have synthetic
I've thought about
too.
Smuggling.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's synthetic urine, is all it is. So that's what I did.
They've gotten so good.
Yeah, it works. I mean, it works.
I don't know.
So
I would love to try. I think I've really been anxiety.
We've been talking for almost an hour, and we haven't even talked about your streaming stuff. How?
I know.
It's been amazing. But how? So through all this and the school and stuff, how do you find, or how did you come across the I guess the want and the time to start your streaming stuff?
Yeah, so streaming came to me. I started back in June of 2023, actually, like literally 7 months ago.
Nice.
I honestly, it was in a time of my life where I was really just unhappy. I didn't really know what was going on with my life because I still had a year of grad school left. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was having a lot of like personal trauma going on currently, but also going through a lot of reliving like childhood trauma at the time.
Right.
And I just really needed like a hobby. I didn't have anything that I was like looking forward to every day. I didn't have a way to like socialize because my entire life was work, school, and continuing education for whatever certificate I was doing. I've always just been like so focused, and I just needed like something to like be social, but also not, because through working in EMS and through all of my experiences, I've developed like really major bad like anxiety, depression. I was diagnosed with ADHD and PTSD like 6 months ago.
I had childhood trauma that I've dealt with my whole life, so I've had PTSD since I was 15, and it still fucks with me. I'm 42, and it still fucks with me.
Yeah, so and it just, I mean, even just talking about it, it boils a little bit. It's still very much there, but I think that really came out of something because I was like, I just wanted to have friends. Honestly, I didn't have anybody. Right. My sister at the time, like, is happy in a relationship. All my cousins have like relationships. My grandparents are, older. Like my mom's like at her job full time. Like I really like was by myself and going through this whole like college experience and grad school experience like by myself because no one else in my family has ever like done that either, let alone like work in the medical field or work in emergency at all. So all of that was just like new to me. And so I ended up, I bought my first PC and my whole setup in one sit because I sold.
Oh, shit.
I ended up selling.
Yeah, right.
I ended up, okay, here's the tea, sisters. Here's the tea. I ended up making, okay, because I have like severe like ADHD and like I'm just impulsive, like I just like love a little drama effect, I ended up like going through a motorcycle phase like last and I bought a motorcycle.
And I've rode thousands and thousands of miles on motorcycles.
We all ride, so you're among friends.
I don't have one now though, so
and my grandpa rides and my uncle rides, just like a lot of the male figures in my family like do, and so it was something that I grew up like riding on the back of my grandpa's, and so I was like, okay, bitch, I just want to have like a hot bike.
I'm trying to
so
picture
I
you
bought
in leather right now. Oh, sorry. Sorry. My bad.
I bought a 2016 Kawasaki Ninja. And it was like my little bitch bike, it was my first bike. I was so happy. And honestly, I realized that it was just like not the best investment because I live in a state that snows in my area 7 months out of the year. So I never was confident as a new rider to ride it. And so I was just like, fuck the bike. It was sitting in my car. It was sitting in my garage for like 6 months. I'm like, fuck the bike. I'm gonna sell the bike. I made like $4 or $5 grand off of it, like after selling it. And I was like, okay, shit. Like I'm just gonna like buy a whole setup and like go right into it. And that's what I did. And it was just like Kick had just was out for 6 months at the time. It was like
something like that.
I don't know, maybe 8 months.
I've been on it. It came out a couple months before I started, and I'll tell you right now, I got Marky Mark resubbed, and it was 7 months. So I've been on it 7 months. So it's probably been out about 9 or 10 months. So because it took me a little bit. I was on Twitch for years, and then I finally switched over to Kick recently.
Yeah, and so I remember like growing up, like going through the social media like era, because I mean I was 12 when like Instagram and Snapchat came out. Like I was face. Like,
you shut your
I'm
fucking
not even joking.
face right now.
I'm not even joking.
God damn, I feel old.
12 years old.
Damn you, woman.
I was like I feel like I was like that like first young generation to really be able, because I had like an iPhone when I was like 13, 14 years old. Like I was like in that first generation of like social media, but it wasn't like a point where it was a career at all. Nobody was making money. Like it was just like I was posting, like the first Instagram picture I posted was literally a picture of my DC like chunky ass colorful shoe that I bought when I was like 11. I don't know. It was literally, it was so cringy. But I remember growing up and now being like in high school, like realizing that people can make money off of it and it can be a career, that I wanted to find a site or an app that I wanted to hop on when it was new. And I was waiting for that opportunity because I remember like I felt like I missed out on that, like through the Twitch thing. Like I just wasn't really
I've got that feeling too, because you're coming into it so late into the game. There's already the people that are big are already big, and it's
I wasn't even into gaming. Like I didn't even watch anybody. Like I literally like I maybe watched like YouTube. I watched I don't know, I was really into Minecraft when I was a kid, like Jericho and like Syndicate, like Minecraft like gaming, and that's what I watch. I didn't get into Twitch. Like I wasn't like, I missed that phase somehow. And when I thought about my way to get into social media, I was like, I feel like gaming would just be the best thing for me, because I feel like I'm pretty sociable in terms of I do like having conversations. I like picking people's brains, and I think I can have I feel like I can relate to a lot of people in different ways. And so I think that was really my entry. And I just honestly, when I saw Kick buy anything yet, I didn't like know if it was something I wanted to do. And I didn't know if it was going to be something that was sustainable, that it was going to just go away, or something, you know, that was going to stay. So once I saw that people were hyping it up a little bit, and they're like, guys, you got to get on here like ASAP, I was like, okay, this is my time. This is the new site. This is when I need to enter. And that's what I did. It was June 2023.
What are you playing currently?
I mainly play, well, oh my god, Pal World has taken over.
It has, yeah. People have been talking to me about it, and I've just the Pokemon stuff was all my younger brother. Like, I have a 9-year younger brother, and like during that era, there was the whole Pokemon thing and stuff, and I missed it completely. So Pal World has not sparked anything with me, but I know it is fucking huge right now. And isn't it somewhat similar to,
I hear they're getting
like
sued.
a Pokemon type of thing? Or
yeah, I heard they're getting sued by Pokemon. Like,
but it's way too close right here.
I honestly don't know anything about Pokemon. I missed that whole thing too.
Okay, like, you're right there with me then.
I came from like my introduction to gaming was like one of my mom's ex-husband's Xbox 360, like Call of Duty, when I was 8 years old. Just like probably inappropriate, shouldn't be playing it, but for some reason I was, and I liked it, but I was just screaming the whole time because I was scared. I was hiding. But I still wanted to play. And so that interest peaked. But then like as I got older and realized like there were games that could interest me in my own hobby, which I still like, because it is kind of like, I do play COD, but it is kind of just like a trauma memory. I don't know. It's just like this weird thing with my childhood. I'm like, I remember being this age and like that connection, because I don't really remember a lot from my childhood, but I do remember playing video games on my
I feel like I don't remember a lot either, honestly.
Husband's couch.
Yeah, we grew up in gaming. Like, gaming's been a thing for us, like, ever since growing up. But we, of course, like I said, we're a lot older, so like it was from the very beginning of gaming. Like, I came in at the end of Atari and the beginning of NES, so it was like completely watching like through my lifetime so far the complete scale of the way games have changed. And I haven't been a gamer my whole life, you know. I've went years and years and didn't play any games and shit like that.
The way tech
but I've always been known of it. And you go from like fucking Atari and NES to what it is now, when they're coming out with this new fucking Unreal Engine and shit, and you're like, bro, like that stuff is fucking wild.
I think that's where my interest in gaming is. It's like I think we're interested in the technology and the advancement of the future and the potential of that, I think. But I do enjoy the games, obviously. Like I'm not like, I don't have a history or a background in like a lot of gaming and that kind of stuff. It just wasn't part of my childhood, because I didn't have access to that. I grew up very like poor. I had a little like Game Boy and a Nintendo. Like that was my little Nintendo Dogs was like really all I had. And my Mario Kart, and I loved it. I did appreciate it.
Mario Kart, there you go. Yeah.
At the same time, like now I feel like I'm happy that happened to me, because I'm able to experience these games as an adult, and it's now become a hobby for me to try games that I've never tried before, because I don't have any like history. Like I didn't keep up like social media games. I don't like know anything really in the gaming world. So it's just been something that's been fun for me to also like meet really awesome people that can relate to that. But it's and I think it's fun to have a new person experience something, especially like if you guys play games with like new people that have never played that game. It is fun to have a different dynamic in there. But I think that's where DayZ. My connection is.
Yeah, I got DayZ.
Yeah. So Pal World has been the takeover for the last week or so, but I do a lot of Fortnite and COD rotations and Apex, I would say.
Nice.
And then I tried doing, I began on Minecraft. That was like my first category that I did. And I think that people really like started watching or wanting to like get involved in that because there really wasn't anybody in that era doing like a series, like a Friends series. And at the time I was doing like a little like Minecraft Islands, like Let's Play series with some other streamers and friends. And it was like a daily thing that was occurring. And so I think that like, it was very much like story based. So like we were very much like acting through some sort of a storyline, if that makes sense. And so I think that that's really piqued the interest of some people. And I think that that's where I was comfortable with. I don't know, because it just brought me back to playing Minecraft when I was 11, 12 years old. But since 2011 to Minecraft 2024, it's like there's such a huge gap that I was interested. So I just started there.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think my fucking thing with gaming too, and like maybe you may be able to relate as well, because you've talked about the anxiety and different things like that, is just like, and well, with the experience and stuff in the medical field and whatnot, is that when you're playing a fucking game, like there's so much different stuff going on, especially when you're streaming and stuff, that you can't really focus on anything but that. Like for the most part, when you're doing that and you're dealing with, you're watching chat and you're talking to your friends in chat and playing the game and talking to the people in the game and so on and so forth, like it's enough to keep your mind busy to where you're not just stuck in your head all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big thing for me, is why I one of the reasons anyway that I enjoy it is just for that, you know, it's an escape from everything to where I'm focused on what I'm doing here and I'm not focused on all the bullshit that's going on up here.
Yeah, and I think that that's where I'm like really excited to see where like things go with like VR, and especially with like I don't know if you guys heard like Apple dropping a VR headset that's going to be like insane. I think it's in 2024 or 2025, like the end of 2024 in December. But I'm just so excited to see how gaming and VR are going to. I think so.
That was a good one.
I saw the.
Come on, that's a good one.
No, I saw the fucking commercial for it like 7-8 months ago. I think it's just called I don't even know what it's called, to be honest. But
Dolph's just trying to make jokes over there. He's trying to do bad jokes is all he's doing.
Oh no, it came to me, man. That was a funny one.
I was like, I don't know.
The VR shit's wild.
It looks insane. And I'm really, really excited for video games to become like more realistic and more lifelike, if that makes sense. Because I live in Nevada, but I have access, obviously, California, the coast, and a lot of tech advancements are on the coast. And I went like maybe a couple years ago, to this VR gaming like place, and it was so fucking sick because they literally had like, I had a headset and like an actual fucking gun. It was me and my friends. We had this huge fucking room to run around in, and it was like literally we were in the game and just like we were playing zombies, we were fucking it up. Like It was so fucking sick. We were jumping over each other, like running around. Like I was just so excited to like actually feel like I was fully immersed into the game, and it was actually felt like I was spooked. Like I was screaming, bitch, like you better know I was on my knees, I was crawling. Like
that's awesome.
I was like, I cannot wait until I can do something like that, but in my house. And I think that that's what Apple's trying to offer.
Right. I've only tried VR like once, and it was over at my brother's house, and it was a fucking boxing game, and that shit was crazy, bro. I like put that shit on and like standing there, and it's like this dude across the deal. And next thing you know, it fucking rings. He starts coming at you. You're like, oh shit! But it was really fucking badass. Like it was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
So I would love to get a VR. I'm hoping at some point. In the near future, I would
love to start VR streaming. That would be
my
sick.
older kids are moving out. I've got a small little, like a really small, like less than 1,000 square feet, little 3-bedroom house. So one bedroom's more like a closet. But as my older kids are getting older, and they're starting to talk about, actually, both my older kids are talking about getting an apartment together, because nowadays it's so expensive to fucking get one. You know?
Literally.
So
they're right where they're at your house.
It's insane. It's insane.
Well, I'm just saying, but as things go on, hopefully one day I'll have a fucking studio
I don't know.
room,
My grandparents,
and then I can get some fucking VR and shit. I'd love to have that. I don't have the space, I feel like, right now, but I would love to get a VR headset and like be able to experience more VR gaming and shit. So that shit was so cool. Just the boxing, and plus my fucking ass needs to get up and move around anyway. So that show would be fun as hell, just boxing and doing that kind of stuff. It'd be. I don't know if I'd do it on stream, but it would be fun to just mess around with and have.
I would pay to watch you do that on stream. VR stuff.
Yeah, Good and Lord. They're just like all the stuff they're talking about with like the metaverse and just like being able to like have like actual business transactions through a VR headset, through like almost an imaginary like world, I guess, that you can connect with anybody around the world and like actually have some sort of business transaction through like Bitcoin or through some sort of like. That's insane to me to be able to think that our lives.
Was it like Ready Player One or what was that? Where it was like people actually living in like the city, like they would actually just
Ready Player One.
Was that what it was? Ready Player One or whatever? Yeah, that was a great. You should. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if not, you should watch it because it's kind of
about what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's about what you're talking about, which is pretty fucking cool. It's called Ready Player One.
To see where the future goes with VR and tech and stuff like that. So. But I also just enjoy like honestly spacing out and hanging out with some cool people. I think like I've met some really amazing
like on Two Fridays podcast.
Yeah, really amazing besties. And I think that like the whole like besties thing really did come with the intention because I think a lot of big things for like streamers and like new people coming in, like it's like really awkward to feel like you're putting yourself into anybody's shoes to be able to like be a friend, if that makes sense. But you really are. You're really opening up and being non-judgmental to really anybody that walks into your space. And I think that that's what I try and do is I try and like have everybody at baseline be a bestie. If that makes sense. Like at baseline, you're my bestie, and then until something further happens or something like that needs to be talked about or adjusted, until you fuck it up, like we're good. And I feel like that's how I am with a lot of my things. Like I really am like give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and I think that that's really where the besties thing came from. So I'm like, I try and keep that because I think that it really does make coming into like a voice chat, if you are just like, you know, watching or you are wanting to play, like just coming in to have a conversation, like being introduced and just being like, hey bestie, it's like I feel like it just establishes, no, we're good, like you don't have anything to worry about, this is a safe place, you are a bestie, and until like otherwise noted, like you'll know.
Could you imagine me doing that in my chat, in my stream?
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I could do that, but I do. I say I'm more of like what homie or you know, stuff like that. So it's the same difference. Is
I
just
think it's just funny too because I mean I've gotten all types of reactions. I've gotten, well, I don't even know you, like, because I do that too when I go like in people's streams to like meet new people. I'll say, hey bestie, like that's how I introduce myself, and they're like. It's also great for that because they're like, wait, do I know this person? Like, should I know this person? And then they ask who you are. And that has been something that's like been really nice for me to kind of like build that bridge with like meeting new people as well. So
I need to try that because most new people that come around my stream are hearing me telling people to fuck off and nothing.
Literally, I'm just like, hey bestie, and then if they have a bad attitude about it or they don't want to reciprocate that energy, then that's not worth my time. I cut it off, and I know that I don't need to put any energy towards that person anymore.
To be fair, the people I'm talking to I do consider real friends, but we're dudes, so we constantly tell each other to fuck off no matter what. Talk shit the whole time. I mean, that's what dudes do.
I'll tell a bestie to fuck off too.
Yeah, we gotta have you back. We gotta get you back on here sometime.
I would love to. We need to have a part 2 because we just have so many conversations. I'm
Absolutely.
so excited.
Goals for this year. It's early. You got what's your streaming goals for this year?
Goals for this year,
or just to enjoy yourself?
I do have goals. I think just in general, I think anybody that streams has some sort of just goals of growth. I mean, a lot of people do it for enjoyment, but I think people who really do it for the business aspect and the networking part of it, like really do see like our numbers people. Everything is about numbers. So
right.
Even though it's not, it is in a case, in my opinion. So I think just in general, as long as I'm getting like an increase, a positive growth, and I'm seeing, happiness in my community, and I feel like I'm just keeping that same energy of, everyone is welcomed until further notice, pretty much.
Right. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I really do, like, I really am down to be besties with anybody. And I think I do get along and can relate to a lot of people, any, person, any age, And so my goals are gross.
Yeah, thank you.
I did for both.
She said that because we're old. She's like, oh, I better say this age thing because I'm talking to these old fucks here. No, I'm joking.
I did because I thought about wearing my eyelash.
Right, there you go. See? I love it. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
So any type of growth business-wise, I think networking is really important for me. Go for it. I mean, you asked me about my goals. I'll ask you about yours too. If you can go ahead. What are your goals?
Me, I have none. Shit. I don't even know, honestly. My goals are to make it through the fucking year. That's it. Like, make it through the year, make people laugh. I want to make people laugh. I want to brighten somebody's day with the bullshit that I do on stream. Like, that's my only. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would I want numbers. Yes. I mean, if you're streaming, you want fucking numbers. That's all there is to it.
If you're in the business, you're in the business. You know?
Yeah, I don't care if all these people are like, numbers don't matter. Numbers don't matter. Blah blah blah.
Yes, they do. This is your
that's
time
all that
and
fucking matters is numbers. When it becomes to the business side of things, numbers is all that fucking matters.
If you're not into numbers and you're not into business, it's fine. But
my goal right now is. Well, I guess I'd say if my goal right now for this year is to build on GTA RP and keep enjoying it and build on a game that I feel like has potential for never-ending growth. And I think GTA 5 is one of those games, especially with GTA 6 coming out in a couple of years. So my goal is to build on GTA right now anyway.
That's awesome. So, and for you? Phil?
I just want to keep producing my podcast. I stream. The health aspect that I've been dealing with recently has kept me from streaming because I can't sit too long without feeling sick and whatever. So streaming has been out, but I've been enjoying doing the podcast. I do this one and then I do another sports podcast also. So I'd like to be more consistent with the other podcast and be more active on this one. We're very consistent with this one. We put out episodes consistently. We put out good content, but I want to get better at what we're doing. And I think that the last year, because we pretty much hit a year on the podcast a few months ago.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
And if you look at it's crazy. Like, I wouldn't even think of it as a year, but if you look at the first episode,
it goes by. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The first episode versus it's crazy. Yeah. It's so much different.
Yeah,
our very first episode was about a TwitchCon deal and a fucking porn stripper or a porn streamer breaking her back.
I love that. We should bring her back.
No, she was not on the podcast.
She wasn't on here. No. We were just covering TwitchCon. Like, we didn't know, we hadn't started doing interviews or anything. Like, when we came into this, I would love to have her on. That'd be awesome. But
Adriana, if you're listening, please just hit me up. You can come on.
Give us a shout.
You can come to Kick.
But the interviews just kind of started about a little ways into it. Like, we didn't come into this as interviews. We didn't come into this with much of anything other than just being a couple fucking older stoner dudes that wanted to sit around and bullshit.
I love the energy.
See what happened. So, and then it's kind of turned into trying to have people on, and because we're both, content creators, and so it was one of those deals where it's like, man, if we could just start bringing people on and try to interview, like, let people know, and maybe grow it that way, where you're just bringing people on like yourself and getting to know you and just talking, just having a conversation and bullshitting, and then if people listen to it, they're going to know you on a whole different level than even in your stream, or our stream. And so that's kind of,
you don't think it would work. Like, you don't think that this kind of engagement would, but I go into people's streams that I don't know, and because I talk, I'm a talker, I'm a chit chatter, like I type. So when I go into these, they're like, wait, are you the doll from the Two Fried Eggs podcast? I've had it happen in random streams. I'm like, fuck yeah, I am. What's up? They're like, holy shit. Like, so it's cool, it's wild to see that happen. And I love it. Like, I enjoy it. I love what we do. And it's it's amazing to see the reach.
I love that, the opportunity just to come and talk to you guys has been great, because I think that my main goal for this year has just been to continue networking and putting myself in front of different opportunities. Because really, like, I'm really not scared to do anything. I'm not scared of getting a no from somebody. I think that it's the only way to try is to just do it. And so
you can't
I really
appreciate
failure. You guys like opening a spot for, somebody to come on And I appreciate you guys just I don't know, letting me come.
We appreciate you, because without and you Salem, or the other people that have come on here, it just, without you guys agreeing to take the time to come on here, then we're just sitting here fucking two dudes just fucking talking shit, So, and I enjoy getting to know, and I've enjoyed getting to know new people of all ages.
Yeah, of all ages, even the ones born in 2000.
But I seriously though, thank you so much for coming on, and I feel like we could. I'm just gonna ignore that whole comment right there about that 2000 born shit. I would have graduated high school in '99 if I would have graduated high school before you were even a thing.
My oldest was born in 02.
Oh, good lord.
In 02?
Yep.
Period. Mm-hmm. See, I'm never going to forget my age, because I'm always the age of the year,
That's funny. My oldest was born in 05, so
yeah.
Like I have a kid your age almost. God damn, what the hell? Oh,
I know.
Now I'm dating myself. All right, we got to end this before I look any older. This is ridiculous here. No. But seriously, you guys,
I appreciate it.
Big, huge love, and thank you for coming on. Guys, if you don't follow Mostly Ghostly, there's going to be a link fucking below. Be sure you click on it. Go show her some love. And as always, like, thumbs up, subscribe.
Thank you.
Click on all the fucking links for Mostly Ghostly. Awesome. And until next time, 2 Fridays podcast, baby.
Thank you. Bye.